I'm going to show you a quick method that I use to generate game ideas coming up. What's going on, guys? My name is Tim Ruswick, and today we're going to talk about something that I've been asked about a few times, but also I think it's pretty useful in the wider range of game development. And that's kind of coming up with ideas for games, right? Like, so me personally, I've never actually struggled with game ideas. I've always struggled with the problem of having too many game ideas. I always had way too many ideas and not enough time. But talking to a bunch of developers, going places where they hang out, communicating with them, people on our Discord, people on our email list, people here on YouTube, I hear this a lot, that a lot of people are having trouble coming up with ideas. So I figured I'd share a method that I used when I taught game development in a school for kids with behavior problems. This was a couple years ago. I taught a class. It was a 6-week course on how to make a game. Excuse me. And one of the things that we did in one of the early classes was we generated a bunch of game ideas. And these kids had behavioral problems, so it was really hard to kind of get them to just sit down and be creative. They had all kinds of, like, you know, they were preoccupied with a lot of different stuff. They had a lot going on in their mind and all that great stuff. So I had to come up with a way to get their attention, but also a way that we could maximize everybody's creativity and everybody's input and kind of get the whole room involved. This method works just as well with just yourself too. I've done it a few times when I've done it specifically generating ideas for actual games, because it's really versatile. It works with a lot of different methods and things of that nature. So the method is pretty simple. You got to get yourself some of these. These are basic Post-it notes that I use. I actually don't like the slinky kind. They kind of drive me crazy, but those are the ones I ended up with. I would get a few different colors of them, and then what I do is simple. So I'll take the first color and I'll assign it something like genre, right? This is the genre list. And I will use the Post-it notes and I'll write every genre that I can think of that I'd be interested in making on the Post-it note. I just write as many as I can, one after the other, like, and one per Post-it note. So, and then I hang them all on the wall in a vertical form. I have a big wide open wall behind the camera here, so that's usually where I would do it. So start with genre, then you do something like character, your main character, whatever it is. And I do a lot of mobile games, so my main character a lot of time isn't even like a dude. But if it's a story game, it could be something like a fireman or a policeman or Batman or something. If it's like I do mobile games that are like single mechanic, super simple stuff, so it'd be like a triangle, a cube, or whatever I feel like, or a dog, or a balloon, you know, just as many as I can, just boom. I put all of those, hopefully on a different color, in the next vertical column. And then the third column, I'll do something like an obstacle or an objective. And you'll do things like defeat the Overlord, or escape from the, you know, whatever, or you list a bunch of stuff that are potential obstacles or potential objectives for the player. And you can expand this. So that's the basic version of what I do, right? So with those 3 columns, if you'll notice, you can now mix and match all of the different Post-it notes in different columns. So you can do things like, let's make an FPS game, take the first Post-it note, about a fireman, take the second Post note, who's trying to save his kids from an evil villain. Or let's say that's the last Post-it note. So now you've got a concept, right? So that works really well for story idea generation too. If you're making a story game, you can put plot points and stuff on the different Post-it notes and kind of mix and match them. But it also works really well with just basic stuff. Let's say you wanted to make a column of mechanics that you liked. For me, I prototype a lot of games. So I have, at any given time, I have 10, 15 different single mechanics that I like, that I've prototyped out, but they're not necessarily games. They don't have any concepts, they don't have any art, they don't have any story to them, they don't mean anything. So sometimes I'll just list the mechanics in a row and then I'll try and give them context. I'll try and give them color schemes or art styles or whatever it is. So the basic method is pretty simple. It's just post-it notes in vertical columns, and you can mix and match the different pieces on the post-it notes. The thing to not get confused here is that it's not limited to exactly what I said. Genre, character, and obstacle, for example, is a great way to generate a bunch of different actual game ideas, but there are so many different things that you can list, and you can really, you know, get to the bottom of whatever you want. Sometimes you know the genre you want to start with, right? Like sometimes the genre might be a mobile game. So listing the genre might not even be worth it. Sometimes you might list the mechanics or the story or the story arc or the plot lines or the journey or the, you know, the user experience kind of stuff. So I mean, that's basically what I did whenever I run out of creative ideas. It's one of the things I noticed too is that it's not just about the ideas that are on the wall. It's also about what it does to your brain. When you see all this stuff and you can just kind of connect a whole bunch of stuff, your brain starts generating more and more ideas. Your brain just goes into creative mode, because when you're writing down on a post-it note, you can't see the whole picture. So you're not going to get lost in that, like, oh, that's a dumb idea, or no, I shouldn't do that, or whatever. Like, a lot of people, when they're coming up with ideas, they're so critical in their head that they shut themselves down. When you're only putting piece by piece on a post-it note, it's a lot easier, so you can go through a whole bunch of them. You can list like 10, 20, 30, 100 of them in a row and just keep going. And you can do that with each piece, and then you end up with, you know, an exponential amount of different ideas when you mix and match all the different pieces. So that's something that I found really, really useful. I hope you guys found it useful too. If you did, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Once again, I'm Tim Ruswick. I'll see you guys next time.